Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Grab a chair, cup of coffee, sit back, wonderful cup of tea, all the things. This is one of my stories that I thought I would share that I really think is an important part of my life that was very changing. This was about 15 years ago, I guess, but almost 16 actually now. Gosh, time flies. One of the most powerful things in my life was the birth of my two daughters. Uh, when I found out my uh, past wife was pregnant, I was thrilled, scared, happy, ecstatic, uh, amazed, and I went into research mode. I wanted to know everything about how to deliver a baby because I thought it was important that I be there for my daughters throughout as they were developing in the womb to the day they were born. So we'd gotten in touch with a midwife, and she was hundreds of miles away. That's where her main office was, in Des Moines, Iowa, of all places. Where, funny, I bring it up, but that's where I was born too when I was a baby. And after a fairly good pregnancy, uh, my daughter was kind of feisty. My wife's water broke and took the long drive to Des Moines and started with the process of trying to help things along. That was lots of stairs up and down and everything else along that line. But the funny note in it was uh, we did a water birth for kind of both my daughters. The first one was actually in a birthing pool. It's almost like a large heated jacuzzi, which was to a certain temperature, so it'd be easier on the baby when the baby was born. This was based on actually births that were done in Russia during the time, because there had been a lot of research done on that, and that made it much easier for the mother and for the baby that was being born. And so I read, studied, and was very fearful at the time, scared. I didn't want to do anything wrong. I didn't want to harm our little baby girl at the time. And yeah, that was a most amazing day. When my past wife, she went through going through contractions and everything, it was hard at times. Yes, my four fingers became basically one giant finger due to the pressure at that time. But that didn't bother me so much. It was kind of an afterthought, like, wow, my hand really hurts. Uh, I need to get blood to my fingers again at some point. But during the birth, I'll never forget when Jenny's little head started peeking out, and after that, it happened very quickly, and I was able to, you could say, pull my or help bring my daughter out. And the craziest thing I said was the first thing I ever said to her when she was actually out and in my arms for a second was, "Oh my goodness gracious, I have a Muppet baby." Just a note, sometimes when a baby's born, their head is a little bit deformed as they go through the birthing canal. And it just kind of shaped it a little bit. And then the first thought I had was, "This is my little Muppet baby." And I vocalized it. Sometimes you don't think about the things you say at the time. And it just came out. And oh my goodness gracious, everybody there, the midwife, and we had another family member there at the time that was aiding us during the birth. And uh, the midwife and her aide would, like I said, it was a very unique moment in our time, but got to clip the cord and then cleaned up the baby the rest of the way and wrapped her up, and she was a perfect little baby. And of course, her head reshaped shortly thereafter. It's a normal process. It wasn't an extreme or anything like that, but it was enough to be noticeable. But I just thought I'd share that the first birth of my first daughter. My second daughter was actually born in a bathtub in the house we had at a time. And no different, she was just as beautiful. We didn't have as much water as in the birthing, like jacuzzi from before, but she was actually born at home. And the second time after going through the first birth, it was much easier on us getting through the whole process. And Jenny's head wasn't quite shaped like her sister's, and I made sure that I did not say, "I got a little Muppet baby too." uh, One of the funny notes was, uh, if you remember Dr. Seuss, there's thing one and thing two, and that was a thought I had at one point, but I didn't voice it at the time either. I went from Muppet Babies to thing one and thing two with Dr. Seuss, but I just thought I'd share that moment of my two daughters coming into the world that were blessings from God, that I love with all my heart. And on this happy Friday, it's always nice to sometimes start with a happy note and reflect on things. Well, blessings to you all. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Stay blessed, stay focused, and share the love of God with everybody. Take care.